Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And Blizzard has finally unveiled their intended class tuning for August 25th, which is the next Tuesday, the next reset. And obviously, there are some things that are pretty weak and some things that are really strong. So I'm very curious to see what they've got cooked up here for the first week of tuning, because it is very important, especially healer balance, and I would say tank balance as well for Mythic Plus. To increase participation and retain players over the long term. So let's see what they got here. Frosty K right off the rip. Big buffs. 6% to everything and 15% additionally to obliterate. That's pretty solid. I mean, for PvE and PvP, that's pretty solid. That's okay. Havoc Demon Hunters are getting 3% more damage. I actually don't think that's too bad. I think the top level players think Havoc is insane right now, but I think Warrior and Acid Rogue are definitely more competitive. The 3% guy is just doing his work here for Havoc. And then for Vengeance, they're buffing your Mastery's effectiveness by 24%. I think tank balance and Mythic Plus is a bit of an issue at the moment. I think Blood Decay is leading. And then like Prop Paladin's coming in pretty close in second. I'm hoping Prop Paladin ends up being the best when I jump over to Mythic Plus, because I want to be a Prop Paladin this season. But a little buff here for Vengeance. For Resto Druid, these changes are intended to address rejuvenation and wild growth feeling weak in Season 2, particularly in dungeons. We are also increasing the power of the Forset bonus to make sure it's impactful and noticeable. These changes are accompanied by slight nerfs to their raid healing to keep them around the same power in raid while increasing their power in dungeons. So their Forset bonus will increase Genesis duration by 8 seconds up from 4. Rejuve and Germination healing is getting buffed by 15%, so this will go through in PvP. Wild Growth is getting a 10% healing increase. However, Nature's Bounty will only replicate 10% of Regrowth healing down from 20. Everbloom heals 5 targets down from 6. And Everbloom will heal for 48% of the final heal up from 40. These are very significant increases to Resto Druid's healing output, at least in PvP. I don't know how badly they're doing in Mythic Plus right now, but obviously they must be doing pretty badly. That's really strong. We'll have to see what the PvP section has, if there's anything that offsets this. For Preservation Evoker, we're further increasing some of the preservation triage heals to help them keep up with other healers in dungeons. So Verdant Embrace is getting a 25% increase, but see, not in PvP here though. Living Flame, 20% increase, but not in PvP. Dream Simulacrum increases healing of Verdant Embrace by 40% up from 30. That will be in PvP, so you'll be getting like a little 10% increase on Verdant Embrace. It's interesting that there must be something major for Resto Druid to not have any of that negated in PvP. For Beast Mastery Hunters, we're looking to increase Beast Mastery's area damage and cleave capabilities. So Wild Thrash will now deal 300% increased damage when striking more than 2 targets, up from 200%. And Beast Cleave will now cause pets to strike nearby enemies for 70% of the damage, up from 55%. So just pure Mythic Plus trash damage increase there. For Survival Hunters, you're getting 4% damage increase, more than the 3%. Not nothing. Survival probably still going to be lagging behind BM and Marksman, but it's definitely not nothing. For Frost Mage, they are focused on Frost performance in Mythic Keystone dungeons. The recent removal of their health increase from removed Ice Barrier had a greater effect on Frost's overall survivability than intended. We like the symmetry of the 3 improved barrier talents having additional effect, and Frost has historically had a slightly larger absorb than Arcane and Fire, so we are baking it into the baseline absorb rather than reattaching it to improved Ice Barrier. We're also making some targeted increases to Frost's area of effect damage. So Ice Barrier is going to absorb 5% more health, but not in PvP. Thank God, I swear. I really hope with Mage they can find a way to like make them passively more tanky, so that the new player mages don't just like die immediately because they don't know. They've got so many options, right? It's like, do I barrier, do I alter, do I blink, do I nova? You have like 10 different choices, and as a new player you probably just get overwhelmed and just don't press anything and you die, and that's why their death rate is so high. But then at the top level, a mage who knows how to navigate all those abilities, they feel unkillable in a lot of situations. So I'm glad this one didn't go through though, because mage tankiness I think is going to be very problematic. We'll see if the PvP section addresses it, but you are getting 10% blizzard damage. Frostbite shatter damage to nearby enemies as well, increased by 10%, and Frostfire isothermic core meteor damage increased by 25%. Now, I don't know if you're playing Frostfire or not as a Frost Mage right now, and 25% doesn't sound too insane, but anytime I've seen isothermic core, sometimes that randomly puts that ability really solidly on the map. For Brewmaster, they're increasing all of your damage by 3%. And Celestial Brew and Celestial Infusion absorb value increased by 20%. I really like that they're buffing all the tanks and they're focusing on the healers. I like this is actually really good for Mythic Plus, right? And some of these changes are good for PvP too, but this is mostly the Mythic Plus section. For Retribution Paladin, the 4-set bonus, Divine Arbiter main target damage increased by 150%. And Divine Arbiter secondary damage increased by 75%. More rep buffs. You guys are getting more rep buffs? Okay. Warlocks. We are increasing the throughput of Affliction and Demonology by primarily focusing on their single target tools with a secondary focus on their multi-target kit. It's probably because the raid encounters are all AoE. Additionally, we're considerably increasing the damage of Warlock's demons, so they have a larger contribution to overall throughput. This should also help a bit more with aggro concerns during solo play. Imp, Voidwalker, Syad, and Fell Hunter damage is going up 350%. Are we going back to the Cataclysm days where the pet was actually your top damage with Shadow Bite? I don't know if that's enough. Again, I think they do like practically no damage, so 350% might not be enough. It's an interesting change though. For Affliction, 15% damage on UA, but not in PvP. 20% on Black and Soul for Hellcaller, but not in PvP. All of these are not in PvP, so unfortunately you guys are not getting this, but Mythic Plus Warlocks are happy. Wrath of Nethriza, Mythic Plus 35% more. Shadow of Nethriza, 25% more. Agony, 20% more. Honestly, you could have probably done that in PvP. Agony sucks. Corruption 15% more, and Hellcaller Wither 10% more. For Demonology, Shadow Bolt is getting a 35% buff, but not in PvP. Come on, man, Shadow Bolt's not that scary, bro. Demon Bolt, though, this is a good ability to buff. Wild Imp damage is going up 20%. Summoned Felguard is going up 20%. And Demon Summoned by Dominion of Argus increased by 20, but not in PvP. Called Dreadstalker damage increased by 30%. Decent buffs there for Demo, I think. For Destruction, oh my god, I tried playing a Rain of Fire beam build as a meme. The survivability is not high enough on it to pull it off, but 30% on Rain of Fire. I wonder if I should try to give my little AoE Rain of Fire build a go in PvP again with that or not. For Warrior, Fight Through the Flames reduces magic damage by 8% up from 6. So some decent healer tank tuning there, some buffs to some weaker specs with some side benefits for PvP. But now we got PvP section where I scrolled this really fast. There was a lot. So for Devour Demon Hunter, they feel that the defensive kit of Devour and Havoc are too powerful, so we're reducing some of their passive and active defense to make them more viable targets. So they're definitely looking at the death rate and seeing that Demon Hunter has like the lowest death rate of anything. But I think their survivability is also pretty high as well. So Glimpse is only going to reduce damage by 20% down from 25. Void Ray, though, is going to do 33% more damage. Blur is only going to reduce damage by 15% down from 25. And Armor of Souls is only going to increase your armor by 65% down from 100. So you're getting a bit more Void Ray damage, but you are going to be squishier, hopefully. Mind you, most of this squishiness is not necessarily against the things that are not able to hurt you. Like, I think, like, high armor class, or, like, armor-related damage can already kind of hurt you pretty good. So you're going to be kind of, you're going to have a very, I think, distinct weakness against, like, Hunters, Rogues, and maybe Warriors with that. Havoc is also seeing the 10% damage reduction nerf to Blur. Rogue Mage, bro. If there's no nerfs to Rogue Mage, bro, Rogue Mage is going to absolutely run the show after this. Desperate Instincts now reduces damage taken by 5%, well below 35%, down from 10. So a little bit of a damage reduction adjustment here. Feral Druids are getting some buffs. Druid of the Claw Ravage damage is getting increased by 20%. Bro, where are the Elune Chosen buff for Boomkin? I want Starfire damage. They're buffing Rip by 15% and Rake by 15%. That's very significant. Okay, Feral's going up a lot next week. Og! Oh my god, what are we doing with Og? Augmentation has been underplayed in PvP, especially arenas, for some time. We're increasing both their damage and support capabilities and their personal damage to increase their viability. 10% more damage personally, 10% primary stat up from 8 to your group with Ebb and Might, and Infernal's Blessings damage is going up 25%. For me, I mean, this is nice, it needed this, but I think it still needs something like... Ebb and Might either needs a longer duration in PvP or needs some type of modifier to not tick down when you get CC'd, because you just lose it. Like, even if it does 10%, it just falls off to some random CC. Which makes it annoying, but it seems like they are focused on actually trying to pick you up as a viable spec, hopefully in a way that's not toxic or annoying. For Hunters, Sentinel Hunters are slightly too strong during burst windows in PvP. We're reducing the damage of Moonlight Chakram and increasing the throughput of rotational abilities. That's good. This is nice. Sentinel Chakram is getting nerfed by 30%, but Rapid Fire is getting buffed and Arcane Shot is getting buffed by 15%. Oh my god, Rapid Fire, bro! My Dark Ranger Hunter is gonna. My Marksman Dark Ranger is very happy about that. I assume that's for all specs because it doesn't say the hero tree next to that one. My Dark Ranger Hunter is very happy about that. They're doing the same thing for Survival. Oh, but for Survival, like, that's your only thing is Moonlight Chakram. So hopefully you're compensated enough. They're nerfing it by 30%, but buffing Raptor Strike and Raptor Swipe by 20%. Kill Command by 15%. I'm not sure if this is enough. Again, it's the right direction. It's just a matter of these numbers seem good. They seem like this should have good enough impact. I'm not 100% certain. Okay, what are we doing with fire, bro? Because fire is crazy. Also, where's priest? LMNOP. We're not at priest yet. Alphabetically. Fire mage execute windows and hardcast pyroblast damage have been higher than we would like. We're reducing the effect of molten fury and pyroclasm. Pyroclasm now increases damage to pyroblast flame strike by 180%, down from 230. And molten fury now increases damage to targets below 35% by 10%, down from 15%. Okay. I guess when you pair it up with a rogue, it's crazy good, but I don't know if I guess a couple of them have hit really hard. They're really trying to hone in on this whole, like, no ability can come close to one-shotting you and you're sustained, which is good. I'm worried that fire's still going to be crazy even despite this. Windwalker Monk. Oh my god, it's actually getting nerfed. I was thinking Windwalker was really good, but is it good enough to deserve a nerf? Rushing Wind Kick, 20% down. Rising Sun Kick, 10% down. Tiger Eye Brew is going to increase critical strike damage by 3 to 6%, down from 5 to 10. So pretty substantial nerf to Windwalker. For Holy Paladin, the throughput is increased with recent changes past our target, so they're just going to do 4% less healing. Bro, Holy Priest is probably getting absolutely gutted if Holy Paladin is getting a 4% nerf. Where are the Resto Druids? Resto Druids is going to be insane on Tuesday, isn't it? They just got massively buffed up there. Prop Paladins have been extending the duration of matches that they participate in with frequent access. So Guardian of the Ancient Forgotten Queen duration is getting reduced to 6 seconds, and its cooldown is going up to 4 minutes. And it has an internal cooldown of 6 seconds, so you can't just like proc it back to back, I guess. Sacrifice of the Just is also going to reduce blessing of sacrifice only by 30, so they did the ret nerf to prot as well. For Retribution Paladin, personal durability is higher than we would like. Their complete team defensive package, and Templar's damage has not been competitive with Herald of the Sun. So we are increasing some sources specific to its hero tree. Shield of Vengeance Absorb will be reduced by 25%. Divine Protection will only provide you 20% damage reduction. And Templar Seal of the Templar will increase the damage of Templar's Verdict by 35% from 25%, and Hammer of Light damage by 10% in PvP. I think it's good. I think it's what they're doing with Demon Hunter, increase the damage, nerf the defense, is good. I'm waiting to see Holy Priest here. So Priest, Mind Games has fallen behind. Oh my god, we're talking about Mind Games. It's an underutilized talent for some time. We're increasing its viability to offer all pre-specs more PvP talent options. So Mind Games is getting a 150% damage, direct damage buff, and the healing reversal by 150%. That could be big. That could be big. I can't remember if you can get this ability for Shadow or not, but that could be big. We'll have to see. It seems like a big number, but again, if it doesn't hit for a lot, then maybe not. We saw like Electrocute get buffed for 300%. It's still just not very good. Discipline Priest, Flash Heal, and Shadow Mend are getting increased by 20%, and Atonement is getting 5%. So Disc is getting a nice buff there. We didn't LMNOP. We didn't see any buffs to Mistweaver. I think Mistweaver's kind of struggling. I think Mistweaver's probably going to fall to the bottom, unfortunately. Holy Priest is vastly overperforming. I like that they're using accurate language for this. They're not dancing around it. Due to a mixture of overall healing increases from the patch, as well as some generous PvP specific tuning to Prayer of Mending and Holy Serenity, we're reducing these PvP increases to Prayer of Mending, Holy Word Serenity, and Prompt Prognosis, which are all powerful instant spells. So Enlightenment they're not going to have as much mana regeneration. They just buffed at baseline, so this is just putting them back to where they were before they got buffed this week. Prayer of Mending got 25% nerf, Serenity got a 15% nerf, and Prompt Prognosis got a 25% nerf. That's pretty significant. Okay, their Mastery is still going to heal for quite a lot. You might want to switch to Mastery. It's definitely going to get them closer. This seems good. But we still have to kind of wait and see it play out. And I think their planned tuning changes literally every single week. So, but that's sizable enough that I think it'll shift. For Shadow, we feel Shadow is lacking in kill power. Oh my god, Shadow Priests are happy to hear that. We're increasing some of its primary burst. Shadow Word Madness is getting 15% more damage. Void Volley is getting 15% more damage, and Shadow Word Death is getting 15% more damage. For Assassination, Burst from Assassination's Apex talent is exceeding expectation, is getting toned down. Additionally, damage from Fatebound coins is higher than intended and being reduced. So Kingsbane initial damage is nerfed by 12%. Implacable rank 3 physical and nature damage reduced by 15%. And Fatebound coin tails damage reduced by 10% in PvP combat. So Assassination didn't pre-evasion the nerfs. Outlaw Rogue's damage and kill pressure is lower than we expect. We're putting more damage into its core finishing moves. Dispatch got a 20% buff, and Between the Eyes got a 12% buff. For Subtlety Rogue, steady state damage pressure is low, without which it can be difficult to create windows that capitalize on their burst potential. We're increasing Eviscerate damage moderately, and Gormaz's bleed damage significantly. So Eviscerate's getting a 10% buff, Gormaz's Bite is getting a 33% buff. I still think Rogue maybe it's just going to shift from Assassination. I feel like Rogues are getting, other than Assassination, Rogues are getting quite a lot. Oh my god, Ellie, is it getting something? Oh my god, it's getting something. Elemental is lacking sustained pressure. So we're targeting core damage sources. Stormbringer Tempest 10% buff, Lava Burst 10% buff, Earthshock 10% buff, and Earthquake 10% buff. Okay, I'll take it. Restoration Shaman is slightly too strong compared to other healers, barring Holy Priest. I like that they're actually using this language. I feel like before the language sometimes in these notes would be like dancing around the issue. It's like it's just an issue. You just acknowledge it and you do something about it. It doesn't seem like it's a big deal to just acknowledge it. We're making some small adjustments to their mana and totemic hero talent tree to better balance their mana and throughput. So mana regeneration is now reduced to 65% from 60. Totemic split stream now causes healing stream totem to heal an additional ally at 15% effectiveness, down from 30. And Totemic Earth Surge now causes allies affected by Earth Living to receive 5% additional healing from you in PvP combat, down from 15. Ooh, that's a lot. 10% less on Earth Living targets. I didn't even know it was that strong. I should have been trying to purge that more than I had been before. So we see Holy Priest nerf, Holy Pally nerf, Resto Shaman nerf, which obviously helps Mistweaver. Just got buffed a little bit. I feel like Resto Druid's not going to be... I guess I've played with a couple Druids and it did kind of feel weak, so maybe it's okay. For Affliction, oh my god, they are buffing Agony. There's no way. Oh my god, they're actually... Agony is getting a 50% damage buff, and Unstable Affliction is getting more Dispel protection. I actually can't believe it's getting buffed. Agony is so bad. It is like... I mean, even 50% might not be a lot, but I actually can't believe that it's getting buffed. Demonology. We feel too much of Demonology's damage is on Wicked Reaping and Power Siphon, so we're reducing the power of these effects, increasing overall damage. I like that. Soul Harvest, Wicked Reaping is damage reduced by 50%. Necrolite Teachings now causes Power Siphon to increase the damage of Demon Bolt by an additional 10%. Was 20. And Power Siphon now increases the damage of your next 2 Demon Bolts by 20%. Oh, so they buffed you up top and then nerfed some of your bursts down here. These aren't buffs. And then Destro. Oh my god, Destro's actually getting buffed too. Bro, my Chaos Bolts are doing like 2% of someone's health. So Chaos Bolt's going to do 15% more damage. Shadow Burn's going to do 30% more damage. What spec is getting forgotten right now that I can't think of? That like legitimately should have got buffed or something, or nerfed. Is there anything? I can't right now. Let's look at what they're doing for Arms Warrior. They're buffing you? Wait, what are they doing? To compensate for the reduction in Fueled by Violent self-healing, we're increasing Arms hero talent throughput by increasing Slayer strikes and demolish damage in PvP. Wait, so your self-healing went down, so they're giving you more damage? Colossus demolish damage increased by 15%, and Slayer strike damage increased by 15%. However, your healing is being nerfed by 15%. Was Warrior healing really that crazy? I was honestly expecting Warrior damage to get nerfed a little. Okay. So a big shift here. I do think a lot of the specs that were towards the bottom are getting addressed. Assassination's taking a decent hit. Some nice changes overall. I like the language used. I don't think I have a complaint about really anything on this except maybe Resto Druid. But also at the same time, I played with the Resto Druid and I was like, maybe that's justified. I am concerned that like Rogue and Feral will take over just because they have the most crowd control. So if their damage actually gets up to where like Warrior level is, they might just take over the game. Because that's happened in the past. And they're getting some pretty significant buffs across Rogue and Feral. Demon Hunter Stonk's coming down against physical damage quite a bit. I'm interested to see how this plays out on Tuesday. I think this is pretty solid. I think across the whole thing, although I haven't been too involved with Mythic Plus to know the exact details for Mythic Plus, but I think overall this is nice. Very nice. But that's going to be it here for this tuning update. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.